All right, guys. So now we're going to talk about building string methods. Okay. So this website called python-reference.readthedocs.io. It's pretty good. You get to find all the information about Python. I mean, Python has its own official documentation, but this one's pretty good. It's pretty legit. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to start here. We're going to basically find the fundamental data types. Okay, so we're gonna click there, and as you can see on sequence, we have str, which means string characters. So we're gonna click here, and you're gonna find a whole bunch of built-in methods that we can use with strings. Okay, so we're gonna find, let's say, the simplest one, upper. Okay, so what this does is basically it creates a new string but uppercase. Okay, so let's say, for example, we come here and we say, let's say title. Okay, we're gonna put in title, and we say title equals to uh, Star Wars Episode 3, which is actually my favorite Star Wars of all time. All right, so now we run this. See, nothing happens. But if we want to print it, and we say print title, all right, we'll see it says Star Wars Episode 3. Okay, now if we want to make this uppercase, all we have to do is do exactly how we have it here. So we say dot on the string, right? So we have the string itself, and then we come here and we say dot upper, and then we basically call the function. Okay, so now what that does is it returns back a new string, but it's all uppercase. Okay, now you could come here and look at other ones like lower, capitalize. You could swap case, click on count, and we're gonna find out, like, let's say, how many characters are inside of this string. So let's say, for example, I wanted to know how many A's are actually inside of this string itself. So we're gonna come here and we're gonna put in A. Okay. So as you can see, it says, hey, there's only two of them. So in Star Wars Episode 3, there's only 1 and 2. So it basically returns back to us the number 2. So title now is actually equal to 2. Instead of the string itself, is actually just returning how many characters are inside of the string as far as like the letter A, right? So next thing that we want to come in here is basically say something like this. Let's say format, right? So format is something that you're going to use all the time, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in over here a new variable called episode, all right? And then I'm going to say episode 3, and I'm going to say title, oops, title is equal to Star Wars, all right? And then now what I'm going to do is basically reassign title, but it's going to be formatted, okay? So I'm going to come here and say format, and I'm going to say, for now, I'm just going to put X and Y, okay? So I'm going to say format X equals to title, all right? And then we're going to say Y equals to episode. Sorry. Okay, so we're gonna do that, and then now this is very similar to ES6. All right. So what we're going to do is we're gonna come here, put curly brackets, and then say Y, and then here we're gonna put curly brackets and put X. Okay. So what this is doing is basically replacing where X is located at, replacing it with the title, okay? And then where Y is located at is replacing it with basically the episode, all right? So if I run this, it says Star Wars Episode 3 when I print title. Now, if I was to come here and say Episode 4, it comes here, runs it, it says Star Wars Episode 4. You get what I'm saying? So this is very useful for a lot of situations, okay? we could come here and let's say for a time where you might say something like this, you might go, I'm gonna create a variable, and I'm gonna say name, right? And then I say input, and then what is your name? Okay. Now we could come here and say age. We're gonna say input. What? Well, how old are you? Okay. And we're gonna say city equals to input. Where was you born? Where was you born? Okay. So now we're gonna come in and create a full string using this different variables, but now we're using format. Okay, so I'm doing this so you could understand like how powerful this is and when will you use it. Okay, so now we're gonna say something like this, print. All right, we're gonna say print, and here we're going to take a string. We're gonna say string. This user is, let's say, the age. So here we're gonna come here and put in H. All right. So we're gonna say this user age is whatever, 30 years old, and his name is let's say his name is name. Okay. And then after we do that, we're gonna say also he was born, and then right here we put in city. Okay. And then now we come here and we say format. All right. So now we say format and we say name equals to name. Okay. Age equals to age. And then city is equal to city. All right. Now we come here, we run this. Let's see what it says. What is your name? Joe. How old are you? 30. Where was you born? Mocha. This user is 30 and his name is Joe. Also, he was born in Mocha. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's pretty simple, pretty easy, and like, it's very useful. Now, let's talk about concatenation and multiple concatenation. Okay, so we're gonna come here, delete this, and we're going to create a string. So we're gonna say something like name. Okay, we're gonna say name or F name. All right, and we're gonna say Joe. All right, and then we're gonna come here and we're gonna say L name. Okay, we're gonna say like this, Santos Garcia. Now, if we wanted to put this into one full name, we say full name. One thing that you're gonna notice, a lot of people in Python, instead of doing camel case, they do a snake case, which is you put in the first word, and then you come in and you put in underscore and then the other word. Okay, so what we're gonna do is here we're gonna basically merge both of the strings together. So we're gonna say f name plus l name, and then we're going to print this out. We're gonna say print full name. All right, we run this. It says Joe Santos Garcia, and as you can see, it's just adding them together. All right. So if we want to give it a space, best way to do is where it says F name, we give it a space right there. Come here and say Joe Santos Garcia, as you guys can see. Now, another thing that I'm going to show you guys is what happens when you multiply a string. Okay. So I'm going to delete this here, and I'm going to take a number. So I'm going to say number. All right, and I'm gonna say number is a string of the number 3. Okay, and then what I'm going to do here is I'm gonna say new number. Okay, I'm gonna say new number equals to number times 4. Okay, and we're going to come here and we're gonna print out the new number. Okay, now let's see what happens. It basically multiplies it 4 times. It says 3333, right? In JavaScript, if you've used JavaScript before, it's very annoying because strings are pretty much like the same thing as numbers, right? Like you could literally multiply the string of 3 with the number of 4, and automatically it will tell you, hey, this is 12. But it's like, hey, man, this is a string and this is an integer. So it's like, what are you talking about? Okay, so in Python, thank God we don't have to deal with that. Python is actually like a real programming language. Like they actually knew what they were doing. So that's why a lot of people like it. Now, instead of putting the number here, we're going to get it from the user. So we're going to say input, right? And then say, what's your number? Okay, I'm going to do that. And we're going to run this. I'm going to say, what's your number? And I'm going to put in the number 4. And then automatically it goes 4, 4, 4, 4. But what happens if you really wanted this to be a number and you wanted to multiply it with another number? It's like right now you're like, wait, I don't want this to be a string. I want this to be a number. Very simple. You could come here and literally take this number, right? So the number variable, you could say int, all right? Go like this, run this. What's your number? We say 4, and then automatically it basically converts that string of number, it converts it to a real number, which is an integer. Okay, so now when you do a multiplication, it actually multiplies 4 times 4. Okay, instead of saying, hey, this is a string and I'm multiplying it 4 times, so I'm just repeating it 4 times. What it does is says, hey, I'm gonna convert this into a number, and then from there I'm gonna say, now I'm multiplying both of these numbers. Okay, so there's a lot of cool stuff that you can find here with over here in this area of like the documentation as like strings. There's a lot of cool stuff that you can see: lowercase, capitalize, swap case, split, replace, finding the index. Let me see. There's a couple of little things in here. All right. So, anyways, I'm gonna see you guys later, and yeah, let's keep on moving.